Welcome to Conversations in Music. I'm your host, Byrd, and on today's episode, I had the pleasure of sitting with a true talent, a songbird who's had a career spanning almost 30 years. She came into the industry at a point where R&B was booming, and she took the genre by storm. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to present the beautiful, the incomparable Miss Chante Moore. Welcome to the conversation.
Well, good evening.
Well, good evening, Wes. How is ya?
I'm good. What's up?
You know what? Everything and nothing moving fast, and it seems like sometimes you're going in that little rat's trail. I'm like
Yeah,
going,
the hamster wheel.
I'm like, is that all I've done today?
Yeah.
Like I've been running like a crazy person, but it's all good. It's been a good day. I'm happy to be here in Atlanta. We got the show coming, and just all good. It's all good. I just I don't know. It's interesting how busy you can be, and then how when you're busy, feels one way, and when you're not busy, everything feels another way. And it feels like it's kind of an in between time for me, where I'm busy and it feels like a whole lot, and then I go, "What am I doing again?"
Yeah.
So that's where I
Yeah.
am. I'm caught in the middle.
I feel you. Well, I just want, first of all, I want to say thank you for coming on. And
Excellent.
you are actually the first woman that I've had on this platform. So,
Oh,
and I'm glad it's you because we got a little history and
we
I want to
do. We
dig
got
in
a bit
there
hot.
and yeah, and figure out some stuff that I may not even know. So let's start with you have one of the most unique voices in the industry, from tone to range to control. And there's only a few people out there who has that kind of control over their instrument, you know. So who were some of your influences growing up, or just over recent years that you've tapped into and applied that to your singing?
Well, I apply and tap into everybody. Anybody I hear who has control over their voice, period. I mean, from the moment I listened to Tremaine Hawkins as a child to listening to SZA and her, it's always
Yeah.
something you can learn. I think there's a place where each one of us, well, for me, I think each one of us can glean from one another, no matter who you are, from male voices, female voices, whoever it is. Um, Becoming a better me is what I'm after most of the time. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do you do that and that together? Okay, I can do that, but can I do that? Trying to to train my ear to hear the way I would say the new generation has a different kind of run that they do. They don't. There's an old school run, and then there's those new school runs, and I have
Yeah.
to hear it first and then try it. I can't think of what they're doing, so I'm learning as I go by, and listening to people on the radio, and my children play music that I hear, and I'm going, "Who is that? Who is that?
Yeah.
What is that?" So I'm constantly learning and picking up and gleaning from entertainers. I think it's part of our job to continue to learn and grow and stretch. That's what keeps it interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Did you have any formal training early on, or is it just all natural? It just came natural.
Well, I sang all the time. If that's training, then I trained. I trained every day, every single
Hmm.
day. I love to sing. I love it. I still do. From the moment, if it wasn't time for school, I would get up to go to school. When I came home from school, I would go to my room and put on music and sing and dance and act out the song and worship God. I didn't even know what I was doing. It was praise dancing before praise dancing was a thing.
What's a thing? Yeah.
And but I love the Lord as a kid, and I love music, and I will only was allowed to listen to gospel music, and but I never felt like I missed out on anything, from the Imperials to Rance Allen and Andre Crouch and Walter Hawkins and Edwin Hawkins singers, and all of those. I learned how to mean what I sing.
Mm,
That's what was more important to me than a run. Was, oh my God, I felt that. Oh, what?
yeah.
Jesus. I knew what the presence of God felt like, and that is still the most important thing to me than anything. Not that I've not fallen away from his teachings throughout my life, because I have, but what I've learned is now I understand better why it meant so much to me to mean what I sang and to be sincere in the midst of a world where they pretend to be everything.
Hmm.
Um, my most valuable commodity is my authenticity.
Oh, say that again.
It's all about, flavor, taste, and preference, and
Hmm.
I'm going to do the best with what God gave me until he sits me down and takes me with him.
Yeah. So you've developed your career in R&B, but you're the daughter of a minister. How much did that play? Because I mean, you've already named probably 7 or 8 gospel artists. How much did that upbringing just play a part in the development of who Chante was, even as a little girl up until now?
What I love is that my parents are musicians. Well, my mom passed on,
Okay.
but everybody in my family was super super talented, and it was just we were surrounded with music. I was surrounded with music. My father is a pianist. I don't think he was trained, but he was very very good.
Hmm.
My mom sang. She was anointed and had great range. My sister taught herself how to play the piano, the drums, the guitar, the flute. She sings, she writes, she paints. So
Wow.
she's the most talented out of all of us.
Yeah.
My brother was a drummer, played with DJ Rogers, and actually the Crouch Brothers. Um, the nephews, not Andre, but
Right. Right. The younger
so
generation.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so everybody had all of these abilities. I just loved music. So I was really the least talented, but the most excited.
No way. No way.
Promise to God, they would tell me to be quiet, shut up, don't sing, Chanté, please. It's a good thing
Are
you're
you
cute because a singer
serious?
you ain't. Oh, I promise. I was like, and it totally did not phase me. It wasn't even like they were trying to be mean. They were just
Yeah.
like, ooh, no. But it just made me go to my room and just sing some more, not to practice, but just because I loved it.
Yeah.
So doing what you love, if you keep doing what you love, and if you do it and you compare yourself in some kind or pace yourself or something in a line, and I would say lightly to compare yourself, but if you
Hmm.
have someone that you do admire, and you think they do it well, I think you know running alongside them is a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but my mother sang, so my father and mother did one album, and
Okay.
it was called the Larry Moore Singers. And so that was the beginning of what I thought. I'm like, oh, my mom records?
Yeah.
My dad's on the record? So I think that was the seed that was planted way back there at that point, because I certainly didn't think about becoming an artist because I didn't think I had what it took.
Hmm.
But when I became a teenager, I decided, I wanted to model. Then I didn't grow past 5'4". I'm still 5'4". And so that petite modeling career did not take off. But what I loved is just singing. And I just continued to do it. And as I continued to do it, the Lord just opened up doors. He just did. Because there's
Yeah.
no way I should have had a deal. And I did. I got it signed when I was like 19 years old to Warner Brothers Records. And then I got dropped by Benny Medina. That's something most people don't know. He signed me
Wow.
and then dropped me. And then that album became my demo tape for MCA Records a year later. And
It
because
always works out.
all things work together for
Works
my
out.
good. All
Yeah.
of them. So
Yeah. So at this point, you've been in the game for almost 30 years. What is the secret to not only just being a great singer, but actually developing a career? Because you have so many people. Just if you think back to when you started, think about how many
yeah.
people started and they had one hit wonders and they went way up and then they dropped really fast. So what's the formula or what's the secret to building a career over time?
I'm gonna tell you a secret. Really, it's never fails. There is no secret.
Ah, okay.
There is no secret. Think about it. Everybody you know who has had a career has come up differently. The only
Hmm.
thing that isn't different is hard work. Somebody
Ah,
worked hard over there. Somebody worked hard over there. Somebody grew up in a family with talent. Somebody grew up in a family without any. Somebody grew up with money. Somebody grew up without it. Somebody's name, their father knew their name. Somebody did. Nobody knew who you were at all. Somebody popped up out of nowhere. Hard work, and it's what. And I believe we're supposed to do what we are called to do. Now, it's interesting because of being a believer. My take on it is a little different than most, but I believe that we're called to be a light if we are light. We are called to be that light. And it doesn't mean that when you do something that is not a Christian way or whatever, that your life is over, that your career is over, that God will never use you. He
Of course.
uses everything. Everything. That is what I've learned to this moment, is that everything is fuel for this fire.
Yeah.
And I've learned more recently because of this quarantine, my purpose
Hmm.
even more clearly, that this is a time to hone your craft. And it's time
Yeah.
to realize
Grow.
who you really are.
Yeah.
It's not about the people listening. I should say, it is not about how many people listen. It is the
Okay.
fact that you realize that people are listening. I may never have the volume of some. I may never. It used to disappoint me because I'm very competitive and I am a person who strives for excellence, but I've understood more clearly because of being contained in my home and being in a place where the people who pay to see me can't pay to see me. So do I still want to
Oh.
sing?
Mm-hmm.
I do.
You still love it the same.
Do I still want to entertain them? I
Yeah.
do. Is it worth giving away? It is. And will there
Oh.
still be a reward in it? Yes, there is. And that's the whole thing. That's what you have to learn, is whatever your thing is. It's your purpose has to be yours. And you have to own it and know it and keep focused. Because without the focus, you're not going to really make it in this industry. Because if you don't know who you are, they will make you somebody else.
Oh.
They'll
That's
just, you should
yeah.
be, or you be the next Beyonce, or you be the next blah, blah, blah. You better be the best you.
Yeah. Did you run into that early in your career where they tried to paint this picture of who they thought you should be opposed to who you wanted to be? How did you handle that? Because I know a lot of singers that deal with that. They struggle finding identity instead
Yeah.
of just looking inside, you know what I mean? And being
Well,
authentic, as you said earlier.
it's hard to do it. I think as much as you can know yourself in your 20s, it's
Hmm.
hard to really, really, really know who you are. So it's going to be
True.
trial and error no matter who you are. But hopefully somebody hears. People are being a little more unique now than they used to be because of the doors that open because of social media. We're able
Yeah.
to just go, I want to sing today. Let me get a mic. Oh, and you turn on you turn on your microphone, you turn on the camera, and you sing. Thousands,
Yeah.
millions will hear. Where in my day, you needed a deal, you needed a demo tape, you needed a manager, you needed to get the door open, you get it, you solicit, all of these things had to happen for you to be heard by more than your family. Well, that's not the case anymore. So now it's really about knowing who you are and keeping people around you that will protect you from the world. Knowing the business is important.
True.
And the business has changed so much.
Yeah.
So, you kind of have to stay fluid because I don't even know what the business is anymore. It's not what it used to be.
Hmm.
Um, but I would say just keeping people around you that you can trust, honing your craft and keeping yourself in a place where you can, no matter what happens, if all the power turns off, you can sing. If you're a singer, sing.
You can
Be
go.
able to sing with or without whatever else, whoever else, without the pianist, without the guitarist, without the anybodyist. Can you stand flat footed and sing your song? To
Yeah.
me, nobody can take that from me. I can stand and sing Chanté's Got a Man right this minute if I have to. And
Yeah.
that is where you have to take the ownership of the performance and the ownership of what is it within your power. And it's not about masses, it's about you being able to do you no matter what the circumstance.
Yeah. Yeah. You come from the era too where you worked with the Isley Brothers, you worked with Boys to Men, you worked with Elder Barge, you worked with Babyface, you worked with Sadiq. What's some of the memorable collaborations that you had during that time? Because everybody I just named, they're what you just said. They come from the old school of just being able to sing. There's no tricks, there's no flips. So what are some of like the collaborations that you remember, songs that you worked on and studio vibes that just like it just brought something else out of you?
Well, I think the first thing I remember more than the collaborations, because by the time I really collaborated, other than with Keith Washington, that was one of the first ones. But that was my first record. What I learned in the studio with George Duke was to deliver my heart, is to give it from here. He said, if you don't tell them, they won't know. And I think that was the most valuable lesson to learn at that moment, is to just, again, be authentic and give your heart. It doesn't matter if you can hit a high note. It doesn't matter if you hit the lowest note. It doesn't matter if you hit the run. If you feel it when you hear it, that's what's important. And I learned that from him, and knowing my strengths, not being swayed by people who sound different than me. When you're in the studio with another person, especially if you do a duet, people are very competitive in our industry. So they want to tip for tat, run for run, hit it hard here and I can hit it high there and I can do, and all that. It's more important that you do the best version of yourself. And again, I keep saying the same kind of thing because it all goes back to authenticity, and so, but I think the most fun is letting your hair down when you're in the studio and not being competitive, but being complimentary to one another. I think that's how you get a good song, is if somebody else is singing with you, don't try to outdo them. Try to mesh and combine your sound so that you sound like people who really are in love. You sound like people who really do care about one another, I think that's the most important thing with the Isley Brothers. What's funny is I wasn't even in the studio with Ron.
Really?
R. Kelly sent me the song musically, and then we got on the telephone, and he was in one studio. I wasn't even with Robert at that moment. He was in one studio. I was in LA. I don't know where Ron was. I sang my part. He stuck them all together, and we heard the song.
Wow.
Together.
So you never heard the finished product till later.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting. What year was that? That was around what? Gosh. What was that? Contagious?
That's Contagious, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you were in the video too for Contagious.
Yeah. No, we did the video all together.
Yeah,
we just didn't sing the song all together.
Yeah. So you just mentioned George Duke. I got a little video I want to play and watch with you and see if you remember this.
The song is about losing a love. Actually, it's about a person changing your life once they become a part of it. It's called As If We Never Met.
Oh my God.
Still so lost in you. I wonder, watching you sleep each morning, brushing the hair change my life, 'cause it won't change back. I'm trying to forget, but I can't act as if we never met. The world going by my window, it doesn't mean nothing to me. Why do I feel the way I do? Darling, I'm still so lost in you. Was there a reason you came and changed my life? 'Cause it won't change back. Trying to forget, but can I, as if we never
Do you remember that time?
Do I? That's the Montreux Jazz Festival. That was
Montreux Jazz.
one of the most nerve-wracking concerts ever. It was the very, very, very first time I performed my music live anywhere other than at the record company.
Are you serious?
The very first time I ever sang it live with the band. Anywhere.
Wait,
Ever.
not just the band. You had George Duke on keyboards,
I did.
Paul Jackson Jr. on guitar, Everett Hart on. These are the LA session cats who
They're
played
legends.
on all the records, and you're there.
Yes.
What do you remember most about that time?
Petrified. Can you say petrified? I was
Petrified.
petrified because I knew where I was and I wasn't ready.
Why you say
I
that?
knew who brought me there and he said I was ready. I wasn't ready. I
Why
wasn't
did
ready.
you
I
even
could go
think that?
back. I would have practiced more. I would have done more live shows before that show. I would have done so many things before that. I mean, it's a good thing I smile when I'm nervous because I smiled a lot during that show. But good gracious, yeah. All I remember is just my heart was in my throat because I just knew it meant so much and I wanted to do a good job. And it was just, I was petrified, literally petrified. And I can hear it in my own voice. And I wish I could put my throat into there. I sound like a chipmunk. It's funny. I was like,
Did you hear the crowd afterwards?
I was there.
we're always, so as musicians and singers and creatives and perform, we're always so critical of ourselves. When did you like come out of that? Because you were there once again with the cats and you were approved. You wouldn't have been sitting front and center if you wasn't approved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, when did you say that I was ready? What was the moment? Do you remember at what point in your career did you felt like okay, I'm ready to take on anything at this point?
I would still say I'm not ready to take on anything. I would say though, in the last 10 years, I have become more confident on stage, vocally especially. I've learned a lot. And then, just with time, learning to execute is something that we have to learn as artists. Live is an important phase, especially now. Well, people don't even sing live anymore. They record it live, like they're in the studio and they do it and they go, and then they go
lip syncing.
And they're lip syncing to a live vocal. So it's like they're singing live, but they're really not singing live. And when I found out how hard I had been working for 30 years and how people are really not working that hard, it was a little disheartening. I will say that was a little disheartening, finding out that the microphones go in and out, that they turn them on and off, that, that hurt my feelings a little bit. But it also made me pat myself on the back just a little bit more than I would have.
Yeah.
Because in 30 years, I've sang every single note. Even when they try to put notes in there for me to carry on so that I don't have to worry about hitting that note, I still sing the note on top of the note because I can't help it. When I'm live, it's live. Well, you've been with me. I sing everything. And if I can't hit it, I'll sing something else to make sure that I can go over there to make sure I come back and then hit that note over there. Because to me, that's what live is about, is singing your guts out and leaving it on the stage. I'm not a dancer, so I can't, speak for those who do that for dance sake, so that you can, hit that bump and then, and then be able to sing. Yeah. I get it. I get it. But there's, I wish I would have learned a little earlier. But the fact that I was at the Montreux Jazz Festival in the very first place, that those wonderful icons of artists and musicians were standing around me, made me look really, really good. So
how old were you? How old were you at that point?
I was I think I was 21 or 22, maybe 23, possibly, but I think I was 22.
Gotcha. So as you progressed throughout your career, you became a mom and all that stuff. Usually with kids, dad not being there, going is cool, but how do you balance being a mom on the road touring? How did the kids balance that for upcoming females who wants to do this? What was that like? How did you find that balance?
Well, first thing I've learned, and it took a while for me to learn it, all time is quality time if you're paying attention.
Okay.
Sometimes people are like, oh, we're gonna go to Disneyland and we're gonna go and I'm gonna buy you this and that. That's not what your children are gonna remember. They'll remember you holding them. They'll remember you kissing their face. They'll remember maybe a gift you bring back, but the fact that you came back is what they're really, really gonna hold on to. My children traveled with me, until they had to go to school. And then after that, it was summers, that they would go out with me. But don't have children until you're ready to give them most of your time.
Great advice. Great advice.
Until you're willing to put them first, because they deserve to be first. God knows ahead of time who's going to be the mama, who's going to be the baby. and you didn't surprise him by having a kid, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you put forth your best effort, I believe your children know that. I used to live in a state of guilt because when I was home, I felt like I needed to be going and putting a roof over my children's head. I've always been the major breadwinner of my family. Um, Not to say that the men I was with didn't make money,
Yeah.
but
Of course. Of course.
I made sure it was my responsibility to make sure that I kept a roof over my children's head.
Yeah.
And so, with that said, when I was home, I felt like I should be out putting a roof over their head. When I was out, I felt like I need to be home, hang with my
Yeah.
kids because they need
Yeah.
me.
It's such a conflict, such a push and pull. Yeah. I know
So
what you
hard.
mean. I know.
But, and I thought they wouldn't understand. And for a
Mm,
while, they didn't. For a while,
mm,
they didn't. They were like, well, you were gone too much. And we had a nanny. And, we didn't get this and we didn't have that. And you weren't there. But now they understand as they've gotten older. They
mm-hmm.
understand the responsibilities of being an adult and not
Yeah.
thinking only selfishly as a child of what they did and didn't get. They got
Yeah.
more love. They got all the love I could possibly find in my soul to give them.
Yeah.
And that love really does cover the multitude of sins. It really does cover the times I wasn't home. It really does make a difference what you do with your time once you do have time.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be on the road all
Yeah.
day, every year, of every day of every year. There
Yeah.
are times when you're going to be home. So what do you do when you're home?
Yeah.
That is the key. Make it count, mom and dad. Make it count.
Yeah.
Make it count. And it
Yeah.
counts with your hugs, your kisses, your arms, your words of affirmation. Find out what your children's love language is.
That's good.
Everybody always thinks it's always gifts, but it's not always
Not
gifts.
always. Yeah.
Not always. Usually the gifts last about a week.
Yeah. And then they throw them to the
And then they
side.
throw them out and want
Yeah.
another gift.
Yeah.
But find out if they like being outdoors. Find out if you showing up at their game is the point. Find out
Mm.
if you can't show up at the game, throwing the ball with back and forth. As a mom, maybe you go get the rebound and go let your baby shoot out. You know what I'm saying? That was the
Yeah.
thing my son remembers is me throwing the ball back at him while he practiced. I couldn't make the
Yeah.
game every Saturday because mama works
Yeah.
on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But mommy can be there on Wednesday before that game and be the one who gets the ball. I go catch the rebounds and throw them back, keep throwing them back, keep throwing them back. He remembers that.
Yeah. 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 You recently also became an author. Your book, Will I Marry Me? So what led you down the path of writing books at this point in your life?
Well, at that time with Will I Marry Me, I was in a very difficult marriage and I was having a really tough time dealing with me.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell on my husband at the time to
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. And I kept praying. I was like, Lord, fix this. Lord, this. And Lord, if he could just, and Jesus, if you could just tell him to, and if you could just fix him, Father. And Lord was like, what about you?
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. I was
Yeah.
like, but he didn't pay attention to me all day long, Lord. He didn't. He was like, when's the last time you paid attention to me like you should have? I was like,
Yeah.
so
Oh.
every time I tried to tell on him, Jesus was like, and back to you.
Yeah.
So by the time I got finished getting my behind spanked by Jesus every other day, I heard him tell me, you work on you. You work on
Mm.
being the wife you're supposed to be, the woman you're supposed to be. And then if you work on you and get you whole, and he works on him and gets himself whole, then two whole people can come together and make a marriage. But if you're broken and he's
Mm.
whole, then you're still going to have gaps and holes and there's
Yeah.
going to be problems. And if you're whole and he's broken, it's going to still be some issues. But first, most of all, first and only person you can change to be yourself. So I
Yeah.
started thinking about how the list that we have as women, we have long lists of what we want in men and, six figures, 6 feet tall. We want to drive a 6 Series. I always say that's 666. It's the devil. It's all the devil.
Uh-oh.
We just worried about too many things, just too
Yeah.
many things. And I think the thing about it is that if we work on ourselves and get ourselves to a place where we are who we're supposed to be, then we can see straight. You know, the mote and the beam, get the mote out of your eyes to get the beam out of your brother's eye. It really is about making sure that if I wrote a list about who I am, the good, the bad, the ugly, the faults, the whatever it is,
And
that
be
is
truthful about it too.
and if you lie to yourself, you're in bigger trouble than you think you are.
Yeah.
But if you write it down privately, write down all of that, who you are, and if you would marry that girl or that guy, that's what it's about. Is if you wrote all of you down, would you marry the person on paper? Not your intentions, not what you look like, not all of these things that you think is what somebody's looking for. Who you really are. You know when you're at home how often you clean the sink, or how often you cook, or if you cook at all, or if you are giving, if you're selfish. These are things that the book helps you kind of walk through. It's talking to different people in your life. If it's an ex-boyfriend, or if it's your friends, your girlfriend who's been through the divorces with you, because I've had 3. And so it was about going back through my life and saying, okay, who am I really? And if I put me on paper, would I marry that girl? And then if I'm not going to marry that girl, let me work on me and get me to a place where if I ever meet the right man, and if the right man ever finds me, because I need to stop looking. That was the other thing. Stop looking around. Let him find you. He said he finds a wife. He's going to find that wife. That'd be if you're going to be findable. Get yourself looking like you need to be findable. But
that works both ways too.
It
does
really
work.
does. And it is more than just the woman being a bride.
Yeah.
It is about 2 whole people.
Absolutely.
But it's about giving back. That's the whole point. That's why books should be written, because when you go through something, hopefully you can help somebody else. And I think
that's what it's all about.
Wisdom and age brings, which is why you're doing this, I'm sure, is to try and help somebody else see themselves, or see a better way, or see another way, or see an additional way, whatever it is. When you really do gain wisdom, you learn to try and give it away. Try to give it away to help somebody else.
Absolutely. So what does Chanté do for fun? When you're not singing, when you're not, what's some of your hobbies?
I'm so boring. I am so the singer. I love to sing. I am so boring. I really am. Let me say I'm not boring. I am simple. I am the girl next door. This COVID quarantine has not bothered me very much because I love being at home. I love it. I love taking myself to the movies. I love going to eat by myself. I love going roller skating. I haven't been doing it lately because I don't want to fall down and hurt myself. But I love watching old movies and love stories and action movies. And that's the thing I hate the most about this COVID thing, is that I can't go to the movies. That is bothering me. I love the whole experience of popcorn. Don't talk to me during the movie. Don't chat with me during the thing. Don't ask me questions. Let's talk about it afterward. It's just like, that's what I like. I didn't think I liked reading books, but I do like reading books that help me figure out life.
Yes.
I don't like just reading a book like, the romance novels.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in love than read about love. It's just, there's just no point. I want to learn about how to love better. I want to learn about how to give better, how to be a better version of myself. That I love. What else do I like to do? I like to be with my children. I like to be with my friends, and I like dancing. I like dancing by myself. I like dancing with other people. I love singing all the time. Although I don't like when people just be singing. Oh, that's a pet peeve. Singers who just sing all the doggone time to be like, I'm like, shh. Can you sit in silence? That's a pet peeve. You didn't ask me that, but that's a pet peeve.
What inspires you at this point in your life and your career to continue to put out music? What is that where are you getting that inspiration from? Because you've done a lot, and you've had, gold records, several gold records, and it's like you could just go, and I know you still like to sing, but where's the inspiration come from for new material?
Well, I don't think love never gets old. I don't think anybody gets tired of being happy. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think anybody ever gets tired of being swept off their feet. For me, it's the love of music. I'm still in love with it. I'm still in love with singing love songs. I still want to entertain. I still believe the best really is yet to come.
Mm-hmm.
I think I sing better than I used to. I think I understand my purpose. Well, I don't think, I know I understand my purpose better than I did before,
Mm-hmm.
even 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I didn't
Yeah.
even want to be in this industry anymore. I actually was in a place of
Mm.
really a depressed state. I actually was very discouraged, and I was tired. I was tired
Yeah.
of this rat race. I was tired
Yeah.
of being a rat in it. Maybe if I was a different character in the rat race, maybe a some other rabbit or
Yeah.
something, anything else
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
than the
Yeah.
rat in this doggone rat race.
Yeah.
I love music, don't love the music industry. So for me, I don't need to be inspired to create music. I've got so much music, I could die and there'll be 3 more records come out right now. Right now,
Wow.
I got enough music for at least 3 full CDs this moment. And I'm
Okay.
still recording.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
the inspiration is never a question. It's about timing. It's about people really wanting to hear it, and being convinced that they really do want to hear. And that's the hard part, is keeping myself sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
but keeping that outer shell to protect yourself from the elements of the industry, because it can make you
Yeah.
hard. So you have to have
Oh
a
yeah.
hard outer shell,
Mm-hmm.
because especially being a woman in this industry, you have to
Yeah.
have a particular edge to you, because you have to protect yourself, but then you have to keep your heart tender to make this kind of music. So
Yeah.
and then you have to be able to connect with your audience and stay empathetic to it. You know what I mean? To the people
Yeah.
that follow, and the people that want to hear your sound. So there is a balance that has to be kept, and that is difficult. That is the hardest part to me.
Mm.
Not inspiration, not desire. It
That's
is
good.
feeling like they want to hear it. And then
Mm-hmm.
what's beautiful about the Lord is that He really helped me understand recently, it isn't about them all. It is
Mm-hmm.
about the ones who are supposed to hear my song.
Yeah.
They're supposed to. There are people that will have to hear my song. They have to hear it
Yeah.
in order to move forward in their lives.
Yeah. You
And
put it
once I
out and they'll find it.
understood that, huh?
You put it out and they will find it, or it will find them.
It's
Yeah.
going to have to, because
Yeah.
if you live in purpose, God's purpose is going to be fulfilled no matter what, not Chanté's purpose.
Yeah.
Because if it was up to Chanté, I'd be Shanta, no matter
Yeah.
who you are, every name would
Yeah.
know. Every
Yeah.
single name would know Chante Moore.
Yeah.
However, that's not God's purpose for my life. God's purpose for my life is for my song to touch people's lives, to touch their hearts, to heal wounds that I know nothing about. I
Yeah.
know nothing about the people whose hearts will be healed because of my song.
Yeah.
And once I embraced that and really understood that my life has purpose without what I call success,
Mm-hmm.
oh, then I have a reason to live. I
Yeah.
have a reason to want to go on. I have a reason to make more music. I have a reason to keep performing. I have a reason to go on a show 3 o'clock on Sundays, every Sunday, 3 o'clock Pacific Standard, 6 o'clock Eastern. If you want to hear why I sing, you want to hear, see why I do what I do, that's it.
Mhm. What
That's
platform
like
do you do that on?
in a nutshell. Instagram and Facebook right now. We'll see.
Instagram and Facebook.
Pardon me?
You say Instagram and Facebook at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 Pacific. You
Mm-hmm.
saying you come on live for the people.
Every for an hour. Every
Y'all hear
since
that?
Easter. Since Easter.
Wow.
Every
Since Easter
Sunday.
you've been doing it.
Yep. It was called Ice Cream Sunday on the first Sunday. And then I
Mm-hmm.
changed it to just the More Chanté show, because I want to just give more of Chanté. And that was why I changed it, because I'm like, I'm not gonna eat ice cream every Sunday, I'm gonna start giving you
Yeah,
more. There'll be more of Chanté if I kept doing
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
change the name, and then I really wanted to stop for a moment, and then I realized that it had turned into, I guess it always was, because it was Easter Sunday. I sang about the Lord, and I sang and I told people about who God is to me.
Hmm.
And as a Christian, it's not our job to convince people that Jesus is real, God is true, and he's faithful, and all those things. It's not our job to convince them. Our
Hmm.
job is to proclaim the word of God.
Yeah.
His word will do all the rest. I don't have to. You don't have to believe what I say, because only a few are going to believe anyway.
Hmm.
Not my job. My job is
Yeah.
to sing. My job is to proclaim. And that's what I do from 3 to 4 Pacific Standard and 6 to 7 Eastern. I sing my stuff and I sing other people's songs. I sing whatever comes to mind and I say whatever the Lord tells me to say. And I try to be as real and authentic and in the moment as I can. And there's mess ups that happen because I do it by myself,
Yeah.
and the camera overheats and turns
Mm.
off. Stuff
Yeah.
happens, but
Yeah.
there's so
It's
much
genuine.
purpose in it that
Yeah.
I can't even complain. I get discouraged sometimes because I'm going, why am I doing this again? And
Yeah.
then the Lord reminds me.
Yeah. Yeah. Final question.
Yes.
What conversation would you have with your younger self out of
Woo.
everything you've experienced and everything? If you could go back and have that conversation with your younger self, what would that be?
Mm. Practice more
Okay.
and slow down.
In
Slow
life.
down. Period. Mhm.
Mm.
Don't be so quick to or rush to anything.
Nowhere.
Yeah. Be in the
Yeah.
moment and practice. Be ready for the tomorrow.
Mm.
Because tomorrow's coming, whether you're ready or not. It's coming. I would definitely slow down and, yeah, learn to play my instrument more, not just my voice, but the piano or guitar. I would have learned that as a younger woman. And it's funny, no matter how many years go by, you keep going, if I just would have learned, I can still do it. But I feel like right now I'm too old, but then maybe I'm not. So who knows? I still ain't listening to me. See, I don't listen to myself. But but I would say definitely live more in the moment. That more than anything else to me. And don't live with regret. Regret does
Mm.
zero. Zero.
Okay.
You can't change anything that happened. Period. Whether it was good, bad, ugly, horrible, no matter what it was, you cannot change yesterday. So live the best today for your best tomorrow. That's all you got.
I love that. I love that. Where can people find you?
At I am Chante Moore, ChanteMoore on Instagram, and Chante Moore fans on Facebook. And Twitter is at I am Chante Moore as well. And there's chantemore.com. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's how you find me. I think that's all the little places. I
Cool.
think.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. I've learned stuff that I didn't even know, after being on stage with you for the last couple of years. So
Yes.
that's it. Anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Um, yeah, anybody who loves my music, go find it all. Go
Okay.
find it all. There's so much music that's been put out that hasn't been played. There's Rise of the Phoenix, and there's songs on there that are just jewels. There's 104. 204 will come out, and people keep going, where's new music? Where's new music?
Hmm.
There's so much music that has been not um, focused on, and I think that's the thing that I think when as an artist, which what makes us emotional. It's like if you had 6 kids and you only paid attention to 3.
Ah,
Wouldn't be fair. That
yeah,
wouldn't be fair to the other
yeah,
3. So go
yeah.
go get those other kids some love. Go show my other babies some love now.
Because people don't know how much energy and how much time and love you actually put into the craft and recording and writing songs. It's months of process. It's and I don't think they realize that sometimes. So like
They
you said,
can't.
they
They
are your
can't.
babies.
They can't understand it. But
Yeah.
I would just say, yeah, that would be my wish and my desire for them to go and listen. When we put a record together, all artists, I believe we intend for you to take the journey, the full journey from one to number whatever it is, 10 or 5 or 7 or 9, whatever it is. We
Mhm.
intend for you to take the full journey, and there's purpose in it. And I would say go back and take a listen to and pay attention to my other kids.
Cool.
There'll be some more children happening later, not out of this body, but musical children is what I'm. Musical kids will be coming forth soon.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. You have a great night,
Thank
and
you.
I will see you soon.
Yes, you will.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you.